Hello everyone, this is Preeti Shinde presenting this webinar for 10 best practices in EC measurements. Means we will be looking and we will having an overlook over the best practices one should follow while taking EC measurements, and also in the process of maintaining the electrode, choosing an electrode, and other practices that are required to have accurate EC measurements. So let's get started. So first, most important best practice everyone should follow is proper immersion or submersion of probe in your sample or in your standard. Okay, many of the time people use amperometric probe or a potentiometric probe. Amperometric probe means you have two plates, and potentiometric probe means you have four rings in the electrode as shown in the figure. If you can see into the representation of the electrode on the screen, there are four rings on the in the electrode, and just above there are two holes. Okay, so you have to make sure that you dip the electrode just above those two holes so that the electrode will be properly immersed or submerged into your sample or into your standards. Why the proper submersion or a proper insertion of probe is necessary? Because if your probe is not submerged properly, if only two rings are submerged or only three rings are submerged, it might cause or it might give false or inaccurate readings. Hence, you have to make sure that the vent or the hole is completely submerged in your sample or into your standards. Next, you should always calibrate often. Yes, as you use or as you calibrate your pH electrode, it is always necessary to calibrate oftenly your EC electrode as well, because because calibration gives a greater accuracy. If you are using an amperometric probe and if you don't calibrate, then amperometric probe have mostly the drawbacks of polarization or of the plates that are used in amperometric probe building. Those are graphite probes, so there is always a polarization effect. So due to sample attack. So what calibration does? Calibration nullifies that polarization effect by understanding the correct value of your given standard. And if you are using a potentiometric probe, you will there is in potentiometric probe there is no you can say a polarization effect, or there is no error due to polarization, but then still potentiometric probe is to be calibrated because it sets the cell constant. In potentiometric kind of probe, the cell constants are variable, hence they work on from the minimalist range to the highest range one can use in a particular meter. Hence you have to calibrate a potentiometric probe as well to set a perfect cell constant to have accurate readings. Always make sure you set a correct cell constant to have correct readings. So if you are working from 0 to 100 ppm, sorry, 0 to 100 microsiemens, then you calibrate at 80, from 0 to 1000 microsiemens, then you calibrate on 1413 or on the other standard to set a particular cell constant of your working range, and then you use your electrode. So calibration at single point or multi-point using calibration solutions is necessary. If probe is used daily, or then it is always recommended to calibrate your electrode daily. Okay, so if you are not using daily, then you just calibrate just before starting your measurements. Then third one is the use of plastic beaker. Yes, use of plastic beaker is very necessary. many of the laboratories or have supplies of glass beakers, and they do not believe in using plastic beakers. Yes, glass beakers are very uh, correct to use because they do not have any kind of interferences, or they do not react with the samples. But you have if you are using with standards, or if you are going to measure EC, it is necessary to use a plastic beaker, because glass or any other uh, metals or any other you can say material can cause EMC interferences into your readings. Yes, EMC interferences can give positive or negative effects on your readings. Positive effect means you might get higher reading. The negative effects means you might get lower readings. Thus, it is always necessary to use plastic beaker, because plastic beakers do not give any kind of interferences. And not just using any plastic beaker, you have to use a wide mouth plastic beaker, so that when you insert the probe is on the distance of an inch from the sides of the beaker. From both the sides of the beaker, the probe is at the distance of a 1 inch or a unit inch from the sides of the beaker. Thus, you have to use a wide mouth plastic beaker to take correct measurements. If you use, uh, because we have tried this measurement effects on our lab itself, we used a used a plastic beaker that was means in which the electrode will nearly fit from the sides, like the test tube or so. And when we measured a standard, say of 1413, we got almost half the readings, means 700 or 600 microsiemens of readings, means completely half of the standard. And when we use on a wide mouth plastic beaker with the electrode standing an inch away from the sides of the beaker and not touching the bottom of the beaker, we got correct readings. Thus, if you are using a plastic beaker, select a wide mouth plastic beaker so that you will get correct readings. Secondly, you should always rinse your probe. Yes, potentiometric or amperometric, any probe you are using, you should always rinse them. It doesn't feel means always it is you can say a misconception to the people that if you just uh, give a wash with the any water, your probe will get clean. But it is not so. You are measuring EC conductivity. So if you hold your electrode in air, it will show zero conductivity. Yes, but if there is any deposition on the electrode, it will not be shown on the electrode if you hold it in the air. Every time you have to wash your electrode with purified or deionized water. Why deionized water? Because deionized water is low in conductivity. It is purified form of water, and this purified form of water is a highest solvent. Thus, if there is any impurity or any sample that has been stuck to your electrode or the sides of the electrode, it will get easily washed off and will not interfere in your next sample or standard reading. Yes, salt built up and residues that contaminate the sample can cause erratic readings. There is always rinse your probe with purified water before storage or in between your sample or standard measurements. So any contaminant can be washed off correctly from your probe, and they will not interfere in your next standard or sample readings. Then always store your probe correctly. Yes, just like storing a pH electrode is necessary, storing an EC electrode also necessary. Always make sure that your EC electrode are stored properly dry. Yes, you have to dry out your electrode completely, and then means you just have to Wash your electrode, and then wash your electrode and you store it dry. And when you want to revive your electrode, just store your electrode in the pH storage solution for at least an hour and you can start using your electrode. Then cleaning your probe is always necessary. Yes, not only cleaning with deionized water is enough. You have to clean your electrode properly with other solutions. So depositions or any buildup on the probe over the period of time due to sample attack or due to continuous measurements can cause erratic readings or give out false readings and can give you a big hassle due to this kind of measurements. So periodic cleaning of electrode is necessary. If you are continuously using an electrode for a week or so, try to clean your electrode at the end of the week. Means you have to make sure that you use lukewarm or warm water with some sort surfactants or soaps or some um, detergents, so that the electrode, the inner glass electrode, the rings and the outer plastic body of the electrode is cleaned thoroughly with this soapy or surfactants, and then you can use your electrode for your next measurements, so that you are sure that your electrode is clean and you can calibrate. Every time when you calibrate your electrode, the meter takes into consideration that your meter or sorry your electrode is completely clean, and accordingly it shows the result. Yes, so that every time you calibrate you have to make sure your probe is clean. So you should also not consider uh, some cleaning solutions like that we use in pH electrodes or solvents to clean your electrode, because uh, these cleaning solutions are made for glass bulb and not for epoxy body. Thus, you have to make sure that you don't use the cleaning solution that you use for pH or solvents that can be incompatible and cause harm to the electrode body of EC electrode. Thus, soaps or detergents are very best way to clean your probe as on regular frequencies. Then uh, yes, take time for stability. Every time people ask me, I have come across this question many a times, that what is the response time of your electrode? This well, response time of electrode means whenever you are having a potentiometric measurement, it can be pH, it can be EC, it can be TES, it can be IAC, it can be ORP. Response time doesn't define the efficacy or the working of your electrode. Yes, it never defines the efficacy or working of your electrode. Efficacy and working of your electrode can be defined by calibration and then by testing the samples and giving out readings correctly. Yes, electromagnetic measurements are completely um, circuit dependent. Hence, it is necessary to complete the electrical circuit very fast and accordingly get the readings on the faster, slower basis. Thus, even if your probe has integrated temperature compensation or there is a four-ring electrode, I have bought a very expensive electrode. It doesn't mean that electrode should give response time, a response in hardly 1 or 2 seconds. You dip your electrode and you get the readings. It is not every time the thing. So you have to give a extra moment to ensure that your readings are stable, to ensure that you have measured correctly, to ensure that there is no more fluctuation in the readings, and then you note down those readings or give your electrode. It can be pH, it can be EC, it can be ISC, it can be ORT. Give your electrode a moment to stabilize in your sample and give correct readings. Yes, when you put your electrode in the sample, there are many things an electrode have to come across to complete the potentiometric cell. There are so many things like sample, then the viscosity of the sample, then the conductivity of the sample, then the temperature of the sample. There are so many things have to come into calculation to get stable readings. Thus, take a moment extra to ensure the temperature and the EC readings are completely stabilized. Also, EC readings are temperature gradient. Also, you have to make sure that if you measuring a standard, you are getting some different values from your uh, standard written on the bottle, and you are getting some different readings on your meter. Make sure you have similar temperature or not. Yes, even though there is temperature compensation, you have to make sure that the measure temperature is similar or not. Then you will understand why the reading is giving, why the meter is giving out some different reading than the expected one. Okay. So to ensure accurate readings, give time for stability to attain stability to the electrode. Check if there is any bubbles. Yes, so build of the electrode is is in such a way that there is inner glass electrode and it is surrounded by an epoxy body. Yes, so when you insert your electrode, there might the possibility that air bubbles might get trapped into the surrounding uh, the the rings of the electrode or somewhere in between, so that it might give some interferences into the readings, or it might because air is not conductive, so it might we give some errors into your readings. So to make sure if there are not that there are no air bubbles trapped inside the electrode, just shake the electrode into your sample gently, tap the probe at the bottom of the beaker, and then dislodge the bubbles so that there are no air bubbles trapped inside and you can measure correctly. Always use fresh calibration solution. Yes, fresh calibration solutions are very necessary. It is not like pH electrodes, pH buffers. These EC buffers do not have buffering capacity. They are just KCL standards. They do not have any buffering capacity. It's like pH buffers. They are called buffers, and EC standards. Thus, they do not have buffering capacity. Thus, you have to make sure that you use fresh calibration solution every time you calibrate your electrode, especially for the standard that have lower, you can say lower EC values like 84 microsiemens, then 100 microsiemens, or anything in that are lower than 1000 microsiemens. Why? Because they are highly vulnerable or highly susceptible to get contaminated. Yes, even if you keep 84 microsiemens open in the air, after 2 to 3 hours, you might see that the readings is not 84 microsiemens, somewhere around 100 microsiemens are higher than that. They're highly susceptible to get contaminated. Thus, you make sure that you wash your electrode completely with the deionized water. Then make sure that after washing, you clean the electrode with the tissue paper and there are no water or no any moisture or droplets on the water, and then you dip your electrode into your standards. Have separate beaker of same calibration solution and rinse the electrode quickly, wash again with the water, and then you go into the uh, final solution for calibration, thus to ensure and to nullify any um, cross contaminations. Pick the right probe for your sample. Picking up a right probe for your sample is very necessary. Not all EC probes are suitable for every EC range. Yes, it is in the case of amperometric probe. Amperometric probe have fixed Sale constant. Hence, according to the Sale constant, they work on particular ranges only. Thus, you have to make sure whether the electrode that have fixed Sale constant does work on your working range or not, measurement range or not. This is not in the case of potentiometric probe. The potentiometric probe work on the right from 0 microsiemens to up to 1000 millisiemens. Thus, it is not in the case of potentiometric probe. But if you are using an amperometric probe, make sure that the based on your sample, choose the probe that cover your measurement range, and also if it is compatible to your measurement style as well. So if you have any questions, we are available in the chat section.